It's an idea that I had freaking 20 years ago, whatever it was. And the idea with destinations is to go someplace and be inspired by this, whether that's the studio, the city that you're in, the people that you're hanging out with at the time. But the idea of doing it as a label and me getting together with a bunch of friends was to try and direct the process a little bit more, to put out a compilation, work on some music with friends, put it together, and see what comes of it.
I mean, you see pictures and stuff on Instagram, like Earth pics and things like that, but dude, it's like pictures just don't do it justice, you know?
To actually stand there, it's still really breathtaking.
It's really awesome to just kind of disconnect from everything and just see a lot of natural beauty.
All these beautiful locations and places that just look incredible. I thought, oh, this would be a really cool place to do the next destinations at.
Black Sand Beach, yeah, here we are. A lot of cool Instagram moments here, pretty insane looking. The rock is crazy, the sand is crazy.
That's
the
real.
water is crazy.
And I had talked to everyone beforehand and just kind of gave them an idea, musically, the direction I was thinking. But then when we went there, I think that shifted a little bit while we were there. You know, it was 10 of us all together on the road, but it's a big group of people and all of us have our own unique styles and different things that we do well in the studio. But to kind of bring that together and make it sound cohesive, that's one of the challenges, but that's the fun part, right? That's why I thought if we all take this trip together, there's a lot better chance that it will sound cohesive and we'll have this kind of mood and vibe, and it can be continuous.
You feel like you are there or that you can see what it is that we're seeing.
The world of the gods is a big sense, and you know, chord progressions and just stuff that, like, I don't know, yeah, that's, I mean, I don't really know how to explain it, but I mean, I guess the music explains it.
I think initially the hope was to kind of sit down and really kind of finalize and finish everything in you know, that studio session, but that just wasn't realistic. But it was more important for me to kind of spend time with everyone and sit in the studio and kind of flush out different ideas, and then also to just be on the road with them and not be worried about, oh, we got to get to this show or that show. I mean, it was a really kind of laid-back trick. We had 4 days in Iceland to kind of hang out with one another and go visit all these different places.
I think not everyone knew each other that well, so it was cool to like kind of have the family come together kind of thing.
You know, if an idea is not flowing, we're really, you know, picking each other's brains, having cool conversations.
It's very much a family dynamic here, and I think that's what's really cool is that everybody on this trip is just super close.
Slow movements, that's the key. Oh wait, there's the drone. Get it, the shot. Compilations or mixtapes or things of this nature, to me, they always kind of mark a point in time where I can go back and listen to a mixtape from, you know, New Year's Eve 2003. It's like, oh man, I remember this song and I remember that, and I remember And you have all these memories attached to these different songs in that compilation. And it's almost like you're opening up your mind again to that time and that moment.
What Kaskade is doing with this whole compilation thing, I think it's a really cool idea. I think it captures like so many different elements from so many different artists, but like it makes sense. It's kind of like organized chaos in like one spot.
So I just sat down once everything was kind of turned in and finalized and everyone flushed out their ideas. It was more about just how do I put this jigsaw puzzle together and make it work. I knew I had all the pieces, right? So it's just kind of like fitting them in.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Not only that, I felt like all the guys that I asked to go on this trip are extremely talented. People that I felt really confident in, that they could produce something that was unique and fresh and interesting and that would be up for the challenge. Even if their sound or style is a little outside of what I was thinking, I think that uniqueness is what makes the compilation sound fresh. Like if it all sounded the same, it would be like this, super linear, but it doesn't. It moves and, bobs and weaves and moves in and out, and there's this pressure and tension and release. And that's what's cool. That's what makes for a great mood, great dance record. There is a maturity from version 1 of Destination, volume 1 to volume 2. I was like, oh cool, I went to Tulum years ago and this is what I think it's gonna sound like, in my head. Let me make some music based on that trip and tell my friends about it and see if they can make some music about it. Version 2, volume 2 is let's all go together and continue to do this and really be inspired by the location together in it and feel it all together and try and make something that's extremely cohesive. I don't know where it's headed, but yeah, this is like a total indulgence for me. It's more about like, how can I figure out a way to take some kind of cool trip and make it work and be around a bunch of friends and have a good time and make some music that's inspiring. So for me, yeah, and I'd love this to be an annual thing. Listen, I've got a long list of places that I'd love to see in the world, and I'm always amazed at all these random studios all over the world. So, from South Africa to Asia to, there's places everywhere. I subscribe to one of these studio newsletters, and I'm always amazed at the crazy locations people are setting up studios to record at, just because I think there's others out there that are inspired by going to these far-off locations and different places off the beaten path. So, honestly, volume 2, Iceland, it's just kind of the beginning. I'm just getting started.
And one more thing, I asked everyone this. Can you pronounce the city that we stayed in?
I think it's pronounced Reykjavik.
Well, I believe it's Reykjavik.
Reykjavik?
Reykjavik? Yeah.
Reykjavik?
Reykjavik.
Is it Reykjavik?
I say Reykjavik, but I don't know if that's correct.
Reykjavik.
Good.